So introduce yourself. Who are you?
My name is Bernie Lawrence. I'm 35 years old. I'm a resident of Southern California.
Dude,
And
it's not a dating profile. I like long walks on the beach
I'm
and
just going-
chocolate cake.
I'm just going down the line.
I think go down the line.
Like,
This is
what
not
do you
even-
know who you are?
This is not a dating profile.
Hey, no, I don't
But
need
that's
one
okay.
of
Hey,
those.
you know, that's okay. Got it. Cool. Who are you?
Oh, everybody knows Chris Dominguez. I don't need an introduction, but you can introduce
All
yourself.
right, cool. That's Chris Dominguez. I'm Lee Duran, the finance man, and we are here on a podcast, and we're here with Bernie, and we're going to
Yes.
talk about some cool topics here. The topics we've laid down are, let's see if I get this right, weed. Okay.
That's cool.
Bernie says we're all primal. Bernie says robots are going to take over the world. Chris says, hey, on that light we should talk about aliens. And then everybody basically says no sucky content, and somehow prison got broken in there. So that's what we're going to address in today's podcast. Let's
Nice.
start with weed.
Okay.
What do you think?
Weed, I mean, what can we say? I mean, weed is something that's been around for, thousands of years. I heard that,
Thousands?
yeah.
It's a weed, right?
Yeah.
It's actually a weed.
I think it's like a plant or something
It's a
that,
plant or something.
you know,
Have you-
gets
okay,
you.
so are you like are you going to talk about whether you do weed, or you going to do theoretically I do weed, or how you want to go with this?
Well, I just want to kind of talk about whatever we want to talk about.
Okay, see, you dodged the question fast, man.
I know.
Let's be
okay.
adults.
Let's be adults.
Everybody's
I
been to high
indulge.
school.
I
Everyone's-
indulge, you know, and like I make sure that basically what it does is that it kind of makes it so that it improves your life, you know, rather than takes away. There's a lot of people out there that are like, man, if I hit that one time, I'm gone. I can't do anything at all, and I'm like, okay, that's cool, you know. Then you should do that at a party or someplace that you don't want to give a fuck somewhere.
So you're saying functional.
Yeah, functional. Yeah.
It's just you're functional.
Yeah, functional. So that means that like people who use it to, let's say, paint a picture or like direct a movie or even write or things like that.
So creative even.
Creative.
So it's not just functional, you're thinking of opening up realms inside of your mind that don't exist and kind of creatively give you more power.
Exactamundo. It's basically,
Exactamundo. That's freaking
Exactamundo.
Fonzie and Happy Days, yo.
you know what I'm
It
saying?
goes all the way to Happy Days.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, you kind of got to unlock some things, you know, as we grow into adults, you know, as a kid, I look at kids, I look at my kids, and they're so filled with they don't have any inhibitions, you know, they could do whatever they want. And that's the power of children. That's why, as society, we kind of nurture children, because that's what we as adults have lost is the effect to actually unblock things in your mind and just swing for the fences.
Unblock and swing for the fences.
Yeah, and
so
for-
you're saying
yeah.
weed will let you unblock and swing for the fences. Why is it so controversial though? What's the big deal?
Well, at first I heard it was because of taxation purposes, you know, and I can understand that because as a government, the government is a business and they, you know, require revenue, and they were getting shortchanged, they would say, out of the taxation. However, you know, it's been such a part of public culture, especially in like the 40s, 50s, 60s. You know, it's been bringing in all the hippies and all that. And then it was
Are you
kind
saying
of,
it's controversial because it's not taxed?
it was. I think it was controversial, and then society made it like very bad. You know what I mean? Like if you smoked weed, let's say in the 90s, you were considered like a rebel. Now you're considered
That's me.
more of like it's a much more of a normal thing. You know. So
I got a whole different take, buddy.
okay.
I got a whole different take, man.
That's what's up.
Chris, how about what's your opinion on what Bernie just said?
I think it could be partly true, but you know, a lot of the stuff that if you really dig into it, the hemp plant in itself is a very interesting plant. I mean, in general, because it's not only can you grow marijuana, smoke the buds, you can make rope, you can make clothes. There's so many other.
Dude, we've been so
uses.
manipulated for so many
And
years. It's
one of the-
insane.
Whoa, dude, hold on, you're stepping on me.
Yep. You're talking about hemp. You're talking about making clothes.
Yeah, there's so many different uses.
Oh,
for this
yeah,
stuff.
so
So
many- and we
one of the things that a lot of people talk about is that the cotton industry squashed the hemp industry because there was so many more
Manipulated.
uses for hemp. Me manipulated, or
All of us, me especially.
Yeah.
I was more manipulated than you guys were, because for much of my life I ran around going, "Hey, don't smoke weed. Weed is bad. Weed is bad." Weed is bad. Why?
Wow.
Because I got fed it started. I mean, there's a big campaign in the '80s by Nancy Reagan, which is
Yeah.
say no to drugs, and somehow we got involved into that drug thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So now I literally grew up, and most of you know me long time. You've been hearing me say, hey. Don't do weed. Stay away from weed. Stay away from weed.
shit.
Stay away from weed. And I was just
I must have overlooked
forever.
that.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
This
No, I
Yeah,
yeah,
dude,
dude.
think about my leg
Stay
right
away
now.
from it.
This was good.
No. This
Oh
is
shit!
This not had the bad
This
ones.
is surprising, guys.
No, we were
I'm
so,
oblivious.
and I was, and when I finally came around, and like when I got woke,
Yeah.
can I use that right?
Yeah.
When I got woke, I started learning. You know what, dude? We got brainwashed by so many people.
Yeah.
And you're right. This has been around for years and years and years. And as we take it apart, as we disassemble it, and we have the ability to find out the good things about it. There's so many good
So
things.
what were you brainwashed about?
I was told this bad. This is going to make you
What
a
was
bad
that?
person. That weed, and there is some truth in it. So
Other
I'm not
than
gonna
it being
take away.
illegal, what brainwash?
Don't do it. Don't do drugs. Don't smoke
For what
weed.
reason?
Don't. I got told by so many people it's a gateway drug, and I can't argue that it's not. There's a hard part of that, because the gateway says, "Hey, I love this high. You know what? Let me try cocaine." But I also say that's not an automatic leap. It could be a gateway drug. I got schooled by certain people. Don't do it because yes, it's a softer entrance into doing drugs, but you're still doing drugs.
Right.
You're altering your mind, which is true.
Yeah.
But that's way different than taking something synthetic that screws up your head.
Right.
This is something that's natural that moves around. But I'm not even talking about the recreational standpoint. I'm talking about the medicinal standpoint, where the CBD, and I've had friends that treat their kids who have issues with CBD.
Okay.
And it's great.
Phenomenal.
It's phenomenal. It's
Yeah.
good stuff. So now here's the problem. Because we got I'm just telling me. I believe a lot of people are like me that got told, hey, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this.
Okay.
And a whole generation grew up saying, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. So you were actually the guy kind of against the norm. If you're the bad boy.
Right.
If you're doing weed, you're the bad boy.
Exactly. I used to buy it out of garages. You know what I mean? There was like a gang, and I'm not gonna go into too much detail, but yeah.
About
I
the
mean,
gang?
No.
You're like, hey, no.
It's just that like you wouldn't.
I'm not
do
gonna
it,
throw
like,
up a color right
yeah,
now.
I'm not gonna do anything like that. But I'm just saying that like it was a lot more underground to buy it than it was today. Today they have billboards now.
Dude,
You know
we
what
got
I mean?
manipulated as a whole, as a society. We've said, you know what? The governments have manipulated us, and as a population, as a species, we're saying, you know what? No,
Yeah.
I'm just not
I
okay
don't
with
agree
being
with that.
manipulated.
I
Okay,
don't
tell me,
agree with that.
tell me why not?
You're
What's up?
saying we all got manipulated.
I'm telling my generation.
I don't think your generation got manipulated. I think a small group of you listened to what the government was putting out, but there's an even much larger group of people who have always used it, whether it was regularly or just socially or whatever the case is.
I'll agree with
There's
that.
more people. The more open it is today, I'm learning that more people use it than I knew. So many more people use it.
Oh yeah.
So many more. So I don't think the world was manipulated. I think the government put a stronghold on it for different industries so they can thrive. But I think so many people are using it that it's crazy.
And I don't even think it's the government. I think it's big pharma. When you get into the pharmaceutical industry, which is the largest industry in the world, bar none.
Oh yeah.
The pharmaceutical industry runs the minds of people,
Oh,
and
yeah.
if you really understand how to manipulate minds, you don't go like in this case, an authority position that says this is bad, and then you need some kind of justification because any well-crafted lie
Yeah.
or manipulation is rooted in truth. And then outside of the truth, they just kind of move. So that gateway drug, I got programmed in my head. I'm like, yeah, weed is a gateway drug because if I start doing weed, then well, who knows, cocaine, and I'll be doing crack next and whatever. But that's not true.
not true at
It's
all.
just not true. It's just not.
No, I actually was actually I would say apprehensive of actually partaking for a long time. You know, going through high school and everything, I didn't partake till.
That's not a good thing. It's not good for kids. It is not good for
No,
kids.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
the studies are coming
Yeah.
out below 26 years old. If you're using weed, that it will reform the synaptic nerves in your brain, and you will have some type of debility because you're taking this escape from life.
And
But
so-
after
Not
about
just that, but
26,
your prefrontal cortex is not fully developed until you're 25.
And so
Go
So
ahead.
if you're using these drugs prior to, it could slow down the process and not get fully developed.
retarded.
Yes. And so does a lot of other things, such as like eating fast food every day.
Agreed.
On
Alcohol,
all sorts of
yeah.
other things.
Yeah,
they
fast
could,
food.
They could alter your DNA,
Alcohol,
but
I don't
at as
about
I
alcohol.
was
Yeah,
saying though, like
absolutely.
if you like, I didn't actually start until like a little bit after, kind of like in my early 20s, and it was kind of nuts because what it did was I didn't even start doing it until I found a use, because before I'd be like, damn, that shit stinks. You know what I mean? Like, I really thought
Really?
it stunk. Yeah, I thought it smelled
Well,
like
they
shit,
train your brain, man. I train my brain to
Hold on.
hate. I'm like, oh, those guys smoke weed. And then you're right. What I found as I grew along, I was like, hey, all my friends do this. And then
Well, have
Mom,
you
they
been?
did.
Mom,
All
what
of
are you
them.
doing?
I didn't. I swear for so many. I didn't, and I would be with my friends who were like, hey, you want this? And I took the position of, they're still my friends. I don't care. As long, if I'm around, I can take care of them. They're just having a good. I remember many times we're in a limousine, just going somewhere to a game or something like that, or a concert, and they're just passing around the joint, and I'm like, no, I'm getting contact high without even knowing it.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, okay, I choose not to do this. That's my position, and I stood on that for so many years, and my buddies were all just toking it up.
Oh no!
You looked
listen
like
to
the
this
square
one.
after
This
a
is
while,
yeah.
This is a super cool story. Listen to this.
Tell me.
Real fast. So my great grandparents and my grandparents all smoked weed together at my great grandparents' house while I was alive running on this earth. While I was alive running on this earth, and everyone's saying that marijuana is bad, my grandparents and my great grandparents are toking up together in the same place at the same time. And this is what I mean by more people do it than you know,
Yeah.
and have always been that way.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think that the world has been manipulated. I think a small group has, but it has always been there. People have always done it, and they will continue to do it. And I think we're on the right path because we have something that we can regulate, so we're not getting the bullshit stuff that's going to hurt you, so that we can actually tax it, make some money off of it,
I beg
and
to
make it
differ.
more readily available.
I beg to differ. I think like everything, like fruits, vegetables, everything that is processed, there might be some sort of play. You gotta kind of think about human nature. When things get really big, someone's gonna like, let's say like, for example, when I went to like a little pizza spot, for them to make more money, they're gonna give me one less slice or put a little bit less in everything. I think that once it's getting to get like
The cost
really,
has gone
really big,
down.
yeah,
The cost has gone down.
of course,
How
that's
much
what
would you
happens.
pay for an eighth
The
10 years ago?
The cost that goes down is basically is basically a sacrifice that they're gonna actually make their money up on another way. Walmart cost goes down, but look at the freaking warning labels. This shit might cause cancer. This shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's smoking in general.
True.
That's
True.
smoking in general because you're putting smoke into your lungs.
True.
But listen to this.
What's up?
So right now, the cartels from Mexico, these guys that are selling, there's still an illegal market here in the States. There's still an illegal market.
For weed?
Yes, for marijuana. What they'll do is the cartels will come to America, they'll go into the backwoods of these mountains right behind us, in the
Oh,
San Gabriel
shit.
Mountains.
Oh,
They'll,
man,
they'll
so
find
close.
an empty space and they will harvest marijuana.
Okay.
And they will use the pesticides that will kill you.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
That's a big problem.
So if the illegal stuff is still making it in, or not even making it in, being grown here illegally, using the bad pesticides, actually hurting people, if we don't make it more legal and more readily available, that shit's still going to happen. People are still going to use it and get hurt from it.
Well, this goes to, your next thing that we throw down, which is we're all primal.
Yeah.
And as a primal species, we have a desire to expand. We want to expand our minds, and that's what marijuana allows you to do. Alcohol and many other drugs, but they allow you to disassociate from who you currently are, or put like a buffer,
Oh, that's amazing.
and then
Sounds like fun.
disassociate from who you are.
Yeah,
And then just
like, look at me,
disappear.
I'm over there.
Yeah, I have confidence. Yours is like, hey, I'm good looking right now.
more like
$1?
give you that childlike essence of like, oh shit, maybe I can do this, or like, oh, that doesn't look so bad, or I just don't give a damn. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of things that kind of just unblock your normal inhibitions. So it's more, a lot of people, they might just get totally lax and be like, oh fuck, I don't know where I am. But some people will be like, oh shit, I could like kind of focus on this a lot more. You know what I mean? Or
People are different.
yeah,
people are different.
People could be observant. Like when I've partaken, I've noticed that. Like I remember a while back, I'd be like, "Oh shit, the fucking leaves are greener and shit." Maybe I was in a good mood.
Leaves are greener,
You're so
so it's
pretty.
you're so pretty.
No, because I'm really
Talking to
into
his
like.
dog. You're so pretty.
You started talking to me actually, my dog. No. Oh no, it's just that like like it just kind of makes you kind of take in stuff. There's a little it kind of enhances the beauty, I should say. It puts stuff in high def. But you get to see.
Are you an angry person?
No, not really.
Like,
not at
if
all.
sober.
Are you talking on weed? You mean? I'm
No.
talking on weed?
Like, let's say you went sober for a month. Would
Yeah.
it change your attitude?
No, however, it would make my fuse a lot shorter.
Okay.
Okay, all right, got
I've
it.
heard
Yeah.
that angry people become happier people on marijuana.
Oh, that's a definite. If everyone like think about
Like
the
naturally
people.
angry people.
Well, think about it. Give everyone in the fucking Persian Gulf a damn joint. You know what I'm saying?
And
There'll be
air
no fighting for a
conditioning.
day.
And they need air conditioning. They don't need.
Oh,
they need air conditioning. That's why
Everyone
they're
in the
grumpy.
Persian Gulf a joint. A joint and some pizza.
Oh my gosh, that would be like I'd be like a world leader and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd be like the fucking in a.
Is that cheaper than a wall?
Yeah, it's way cheaper than a wall. Everybody.
Oh, you want to go there, man?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
I used to do that, like, sometime because I actually, okay, I'll give you guys a story. I'll give you guys some raw
Okay,
shit.
give us a.
I used to freaking hate my fucking boss.
All right.
She
She
was
was
a
self-employed.
I don't know anybody like that.
You're self-employed and you hated your boss?
No, I wasn't even self-employed. I
Oh,
was
okay.
working. I was working. Fuck her. I was working at Taco Bell, man. I hated
All right.
a bitch. Anyway.
Yeah, okay, got it.
I don't mean to call her bitch because I don't like calling women.
Damn.
But anyway,
That's the real one.
yeah,
this
and I
is real.
had to deal with her every day because it was a TV that I wanted. And I was like, fuck, I need to fucking get this TV, but I gotta put up with this chick, you know? So every
It was
day.
like a 24-inch big old box TV.
No, it was like yeah, maybe. It was just big. It was nice. I was looking at it at Best Buy, and then I was like, you know what? Like, no one can
How many
stand her.
tacos do I have to bend? This TV?
I know, like, I have to put some fucking sour cream in my mouth and rub it on my. No, you know what? Basically, I just fucking. You know what? She made me so angry. I was like, you know what? I just went outside one day and like puffed a joint, and then we just got along fantastically after that. No. I smoked, and then I just
This
came
is like
back,
the
and I was like,
coolest
you know
boss
what?
ever.
Yeah, you know, she was just obnoxious, and we just got along so well, and I was like, damn, this shit really makes me
So
focus.
it was your attitude that adjusted her.
Well, my attitude didn't adjust her. I just adjusted my attitude to comply to.
Well, how did she become a nicer person?
Because I adjusted my. Yeah, you're right. My attitude
you
adjusted her. Yeah.
created the anger in her. So
No,
you
I didn't create the anger in her.
Oh,
She was
you
angry at
made the
everybody.
bitch.
Yeah,
You made the
yeah.
bitch.
No, I didn't make it. She was a bitch to everybody.
Okay.
And she like fired like 2/3 of the staff.
But when you got high,
Yeah.
was she still a bitch?
She was still a bitch, but I complied with the bitch.
Oh,
shit, you
like
made me
more
say it.
than-
No, I complied, and then
So-
it was more, yeah.
So it's like getting married.
Almost.
Oh, you want to go that way? Dude.
That would suck.
Oh,
That
yeah,
would suck.
that
That would
this
suck.
guy looking for a relationship.
Oh,
right there.
shit. Hey,
Single,
he's like,
ready to mingle,
no, but it's just basically I kind of put myself in a zone where I was like, what the fuck does she want? Okay, I'll do this. And then when I did that, she was like, really like, oh man, this guy's fucking cool. You know what? I was like
All right.
employee of the
So
month
you
after
became a
that.
good employee. She liked you.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to say a good employee when I became a compliant employee.
So what you're saying is life is experiential. In other words, the way you experience it is unique to you, and if you can alter that, whether it's through marijuana or even through just conscious thought. 'Cause
Yeah.
the truth is, you can do it through conscious
You
thought.
can. It's
If
just a
you
lot less
actually
fun.
think of, it's
A lot
less
fun.
fun. It's
You know
less
what I
fun.
mean? It doesn't smell as great. Yeah.
You say less coffee?
So
What's up?
Less coffee?
I don't know. I didn't say that,
Oh,
did
I
I?
thought
no.
you did.
Oh, shit.
He's here. He's here.
What
to
number am
voice
I?
in his head.
I think it was
says
my
less
cackle.
coffee.
Yeah, that was my cackle laugh.
Yeah, the cackle.
Yeah.
How does that cackle? That's Halloween. That's good.
Oh, shit.
For Halloween, right?
You know?
Yeah, give us a good cackle.
Oh. Oh, damn. I gave you a fake one and a real one. Yeah. No, but yeah, you're right. You hit the nail on the head, man. It's all about perception. Life is perception, and I perceived her as a bitch, but she was extremely too efficient for tacos for me.
So let me hit you with some heavy,
Yeah.
some deep stuff, okay?
All right.
Some
Yeah.
deep stuff. some
I'm
deep
wincing.
stuff.
Yeah.
Do you see me right now, right in front of you? Do you see me?
Yes.
Okay. Do you see Chris?
Yes.
I say you do not.
Do I see vibrations? Is that
Do
what
you
you're
see
saying?
what you see is the light bouncing off of me,
Right.
and the whole thing constructed in your brain. So everything that you see is built in your brain.
I know who's high right now.
I'm like, wait a minute, I want that shit.
What are you
You got the vape. No,
Is it in that coffee?
that's not a straw. That's a fucking vape. No,
Bernie's about to lose his
Bro.
mind.
I know,
Do you
like,
see
oh,
me?
shit.
No, you don't. I'm not here.
I thought the room was about to disappear and shit.
I'm not scared.
Do you see my friend the alien
Oh,
right next to us?
man. Oh,
You hear me?
man.
I'm in your head. That's why.
No,
But everything is experiential. It comes
Yeah.
through your eyes. If you
Right.
see, because when you see me, you see a picture of who you painted me to be.
Right.
Chris has a different picture.
No, we all have the same
Kip
one,
has
bro.
a different picture.
We all have glasses. We all see those
We like the
glasses.
the
Right.
glasses are cool, you know.
Right.
That's,
Right.
So it's all
No,
experiential.
no.
So if you can change that experience, which is what weed will do,
Yeah.
it changes that experience, and now all of a sudden, because you have a different perspective of your experience, you have a better essence. You have a
Right.
better experience in life.
Yes, and we had a great run too. Like I turned in from employee that was
Now we're getting married.
Just trying to buy.
I know.
Now
like,
we're getting married.
And then, no, but like, like that's what it did. So it's just like that's what it does for some people. But yeah,
Well, yeah. Well, and then others, it does the complete opposite.
complete opposite.
Bad high.
Oh,
It's
some
like
people just go to sleep
paranoia.
on the tacos and shit. You know what I mean? Like, fuck
So
that.
paranoia
listen to
leads
this.
itself to robots taking over the world?
So here's what I heard. I don't know how true this is.
There you
Maybe
go.
you guys can help me with this.
Go.
So you do too much of the wrong strain or the wrong type, like indicas, sativas. If you do too much, you get paranoid. Okay. There isn't a specific. Some say if you do sativa, you get paranoid. If you do indica, you get paranoid.
Right.
There isn't a specific. It just depends on the person.
Right.
But here's what I understand, or here's what I heard.
Okay.
The reason why you get
paranoid is because you actually got really in touch with reality.
Okay.
Like for instance, some people are thinking, "Hey, who's outside? Who's outside my front door or who's outside my window?"
Right.
So that paranoia could be a real thing. You just got closer in touch with reality.
Right.
It's not like you're having a bad trip. You're just really thinking about what really could happen
Oh,
in
yeah.
deep thought.
Oh yeah, you're getting more intense. You're like sometimes that's where the whole. Sometimes people really have to look.
So that's the
within,
shit I'm
like Lee
talking
said.
about. What the hell's going on? Man? This is what I'm talking about.
Like Lee said, it's basically, you could get it with anything. And if you're basically trying to get happiness through weed, you can't. You have to be happy yourself, and then weed will enhance it. Just
I
like
disagree.
You disagree? What's
Yeah,
up?
a joint and some nachos. You're freaking. That's the day.
That's his day.
It's true. I'm telling you, the whole
Well,
party
today's
golf,
Friday.
just
You
give
know
it
what
to
his
him.
plan is.
Oh,
You know his plan.
Extra
dude.
cheese
I'll be like, what are you doing after work? Getting nachos?
and a joint.
Oh damn! You know what though? Like that other stuff though, the stuff that they vape and all that, the oil, that's a little bit shifty to me. 'Cause-
Hey, yeah. Tell me about that. What's going on with these people that are dying?
All right. Oh, they're dying. I didn't even know.
They're dying from vaping.
Dude, it tastes like computer dust. You know what I'm saying? My instinct is telling me I'm inhaling computer dust.
What do you know about this? The wax and all that.
The wax, all I know is that they boil it down. It looks like crack. That's all I know. It looks like crack, and that makes me very I don't like that. You know what I mean?
Not so natural anymore.
Doesn't look natural. It looks like people are trying to extract the most, and then I think that will overload the body. I've had friends who've became not friends in the course of them using this stuff, and they
The vape, you mean?
Yeah, they became very.
Well, you know who owns the
paranoid.
vape industry, right?
Pharma or no cigarette companies.
Yeah, the cigarette companies.
Tobacco.
Oh.
Big
That's
tobacco.
hilarious, man. You know why? Because they're like, oh, cigarettes, they're going away. These are bad. And you know what they said? Well, our competitors going to the vape, they just went and wrote big fat checks and bought all the vape companies.
They Facebooked them, just like I
They
Facebooked
sure,
and
yeah,
Instagram.
yeah, they said they're like, hey, you know what? Just like Facebook and Instagram, you're like,
Yeah.
you don't have to compete with you. We'll just buy you. There's one guy's gonna walk away really rich, and we're gonna own the industry.
Yeah.
Man.
So they're like, hey, you better quit smoking. You should turn to vaping.
Exactly.
It's hilarious, man. It's a giant manipulation.
And
It's
people
giant.
think it's healthier.
Yeah, they're like,
Yeah.
hey, let's sell this as healthier. It's like, well, I told you we were all manipulated.
Yeah.
There was a time, I'm a little embarrassed, but I'll put it out there anyway.
Yeah, let's do it.
I thought I was eating healthy because I'd go to McDonald's and I would get chicken McNuggets, which I thought was chicken, and which I thought was chicken. That's hilarious. Yeah.
Well, no,
And
you're
then-
correct.
And then
You're
I
on the
would
right
have,
path.
yeah, and then I would have French fries, which I thought was vegetables.
Okay.
And then I would have Sprite, which I got told is the drink that champions drink. Sprite. And I
Who
remember
the hell were you talking to?
no, there was commercials
Jesus
on it. They're like,
Christ.
"You're
Oh, okay.
someone special. You're striving for more." I remember this commercial. Yeah, dude, I just straight went into the commercial.
Sing it. Keep going.
I can't. That's it. But I can say two all beef patty, special sauce, sliced cheese, pickles, onion, on sesame seeds, jamon. Boom. You know why? Because they trained me. They straight trained me, and I understand this now. And they manipulated me. I was like, "Yeah, I'm eating chicken. I'm eating vegetables, and
Right.
I'm drinking the healthy soft drink." As I got further along, I realized, hey, that's not chicken. First off, two, the deep fried, and it's horrible. And it's
Yeah.
not necessarily deep frying that it's horrible. It's deep frying in vegetable oil because vegetable oil has
Ooh.
nothing to do with vegetables.
Canola
Absolutely
oil
nothing.
is on the news right now.
Is it for what?
Are you
Canola.
serious?
Yeah, for killing people.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
well,
Everything's
vegetable
killing
oil
people.
and canola oil, they're super cheap, and you can deep fry things. It's not healthy. It's so bad for you. It's so bad for you. I remember arguing with people. I am eating healthy. I'm eating white chicken breast. I'm eating vegetables, and I'm drinking the healthiest soft drink. None of that is true. None of it. None of it.
None of it.
As I move along in life, I've learned what healthy is, and that's not even close. You can't get healthy. You just can't there. So it's a giant manipulation, gigantic. And when we go back to the cigarettes versus vaping, those guys are smart, man. They're so
Marketing.
smart.
Yeah.
They're so smart. And they're like, hey, you know what? We're going to lose this industry sooner or later. May as well own the industry that everybody's going to.
Yeah.
Yeah, they see light years ahead.
Damn.
It's like he shared this with me, and I was like, "Holy cow, this is genius!"
Yeah.
So you remember when we used to have phones at the house?
Yeah,
with the
landlines,
wire, and
yeah.
you'd hang out there,
Yeah.
and have to pick it off the wall and answer it.
The rotary, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's like, you know what Verizon did?
What?
They just knew that this shit was going away, so they went and bought all these cell towers.
Oh.
And Verizon stays in business this whole time.
Shit.
MCI's out of business, or I don't know all the long
Yeah,
distance
yeah.
companies.
Remember MCI? Oh,
Yeah.
Pac Bell.
Well,
Yeah,
they were all
Pac Bell.
fighting for a penny. They were all fighting,
But
hey, we're 1
that's-
penny cheaper.
That's what the tobacco companies are doing.
Yeah.
They have the
Yeah.
foresight to go, oh, this is where the crap's going. Let's go do that.
Yeah. Oh fuck, man. You know what? That's and that's like the whole thing. When it comes to health, you gotta deal with your inner compass. You know what? Doctors are great. You know what I mean? But I'm telling you, you gotta see exactly what's going on with you. If weed is basically making you feel bad or something like that,
Close to the
you
mic,
can't-
buddy.
Like you can't do it.
Yeah.
But if it's something that your inner compass says, hey, it's doing good. However, I'm an advocate too that everything in moderation. You got to do it in moderation. You can't be too much, of it, because then it will too much of anything can make you an addict. Sex, weed, you know what I mean? Books, everything. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
especially someone with OCD.
Oh my God.
Scary.
Like Grant Cardone, 10X, he said that he was really drugged out and everything, and he said, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and take this drug habit and make it into a motherfucking marketing.
And he's obsessed.
And he's obsessed. So that kind of thinking, maybe he came up with it when he was faded. That motherfucker who made all the Apple products, he said he was like on LSD and shit.
Yeah.
Sorry to call him a motherfucker, he's dead. But I'm just saying, that dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, fuck, man. Like, it unlocks a lot of chambers, man. And
How are robots going to take over the world?
that's a good one. Now, I think they're gonna begin with sex, because basically they have a.
What kind of robots do you have at home?
Do I want it? No, that I can't afford it. No, no. I'm just kidding.
I've already priced them out. You've already priced them out. How much they cost?
Mine actually moves. No, I'm kidding. No, you know what? Like, no, there's a. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just
kidding. No.
Why is Kip Googling this now?
No, they have actually rich people in different countries that have robots that are kind of like lifelike, and they can actually talk to you. And they have tits, they have ass.
Where's this country?
They're jiggly.
Where's this
everywhere.
country?
Chris is
They
going
got
there
them everywhere.
tonight.
They got
He's going to grab his nachos, some
know,
weed,
right?
and grab a plane ticket.
Ooh, it's crazy, and they actually have skin that's warm too.
How do you know this?
I don't know. I was actually I went down a rabbit hole in a
read.
YouTube search one day. You know, just don't look at my fucking.
How do they
my
make the
search
skin
history,
warm?
you know?
There's got to be like some kind of skin warmer. What is
Oh,
it?
shit. Well,
Dude, I don't know what you're. This
I don't
is
know.
just
That's why it's worth
fascinating.
so much money, but
So you think robots are going to take over the world because of sex?
yeah, because look at these wealthy men. Because
Yeah.
women don't need that shit. They could go to a bar and have sex with anyone if they really pleased.
You really think so?
Women own sex. You know what I mean? Like
They
women,
own it?
They own it.
They
own
do.
it. They own it, and we rent it. You know what I'm saying? Like we
Whoa,
lease it. They own.
dude.
You know what I'm saying? Because like they have the power. They could be like, yo. But
Do you think they know they own it?
No.
Absolutely know they own it. Look
No,
at
they
No,
don't.
Chris says no.
No, they
absolutely
don't.
know.
No, they don't.
know it.
Bernie says absolutely.
Oh my gosh! Like if you ever.
So if we had a woman in here, because we don't even have a woman, we're gonna get beat up for not having a woman in here.
That's
But
okay, yeah.
you think she would say yes? We own that. We
Fuck
own
yeah.
that. Yeah.
if she's
Chris
if
says
she's
no.
cognizant,
No.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, because look at man, like look at all.
No. It's not a matter of owning or not. It's a matter of them knowing their power. They
Some of them
don't
do.
know their power.
Well,
For the mass majority, I say they don't know their power.
Mass majority maybe in the world, but I think like in the United States, there's a lot that do know their power because you have it's basically they know their sexuality, but this is where men get their power is that when they can own their sex too, where they're not living life like by their second head, and they could actually own their sexuality. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Like when they could just control their sexuality, where they don't have to.
A guy that can control his sexuality?
Yeah, and they don't have to lust after everything. I think that's where you get personal.
That sounds like a
power.
woman.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna
It's a
get deep on.
feminine
I'm gonna
attribute.
get. This is gonna get a deep conversation fast.
Yeah!
Here's why.
It's a
Here's
feminine
why.
attribute, yeah.
Human species. I've been studying this for years. I love it. It's kind of my study fun time stuff.
He's an alien.
Is I'm an alien. I'm an alien.
He's
I'm an
observing
alien.
us.
I just admitted it on the air. So, three things. You have to eat, sleep, and let's just use a politically correct
now
word,
you need to sleep.
procreate.
Oh yeah.
Eat, sleep, and procreate. Other than that, if you take down anything that you do to become successful is either so you can eat better, so you can sleep better, or so you can procreate more. So everything boils down to those three things. As a
You
human,
mean I bought a Lamborghini so I could eat more?
yeah, so you can eat more, so you can
think
sleep
the
more. I think you can
procreation would
sleep in the Lamborghini because you can't afford a house anymore.
Oh, that's what it is. Got it now. I bought a Lamborghini for sleep.
Drive
Yeah.
a Lamborghini through Marino
But if you
Valley.
break that down, you drive a Lamborghini through, you're gonna have a place to sleep.
I won't have one after that.
I think
Go to
you'll be
Marino Valley.
procreating a lot.
I'll be walking home.
But so if you break down to the biological fundamentals, we are all driven by this, and then your life force, whatever you have. So everybody has that. So even the lowest level guy has this.
Oh yeah.
And he wants to eat, sleep, and procreate, but he doesn't have any energy or he doesn't have a capacity or capability to do anything, so it doesn't kind of go anywhere.
Yeah.
So you just kind of stay at the lower level. The one that has a stronger life force is able to do more things. So if you think of your athletes, your really successful businessmen, they took that life force and they took these three fundamentals: eat, sleep, procreate, and they turned it into something so they can eat better, sleep better, and procreate better.
Right. Yeah.
So when you say robots are going to take over the world because of sex, you're not that far off. They're not that far off. There is an intellectual component to it, and we still haven't been able to bridge consciousness, which is very tough. Because conscious thought, the difference between you and a lion.
Yeah.
You get up in the morning, okay?
Yeah.
And you go out and eat, and the lion gets up in the morning, and he goes out and eats.
Right.
And then you procreate or whatever, and he procreates
Masturbate?
or whatever. I don't know what you got, whatever word. I'm just gonna use procreate because that's a good one.
Before I brush my
Like,
teeth. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
Make sex.
Okay, so you go out, and then the lion is done for the day, and you're done for the day. But here's the difference: the lion doesn't consciously think about anything. It's all instinctive, primal, and habitual.
I'm gonna start doing that.
Yep.
I'm just gonna go
But
primal.
as a human being,
I'm
you're
not even gonna
going,
think about it.
As a human being, you're saying, what am I?
time.
Why am I doing this? Do I really want to be controlled
Come
by
here.
this? Do I need to eat this? Am I being controlled? And am I not good enough? The lion doesn't sit around and go, I wonder if I'm not a good enough lion.
Unless he's in the zoo.
Maybe, yeah.
What do other lions think about me?
Yeah, what do other lions think about me?
Zoo lions,
Am I
man,
even a
they're
lion?
depressed.
Am I even? I'm gonna get sued for that one.
Oh,
Am I
no.
even a lion?
Oh yeah. That's exactly. Well, you know what? It's basically like, dude. Imagine someone who looks lifelike, because they're gonna look lifelike as me and you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And you could have sex with that, with whatever, and then
Dude,
it's
you
like,
just go such down a path my brain doesn't get into.
Does it want to cuddle after?
My brain
I'm
doesn't.
accessing the reptilian
Does it want to
brain.
cuddle?
I'm telling you, you and I are just such different spaces, but you're just like smooth and comfortable with this. Keep
Yeah.
going though, keep going.
Well, and then not arguing afterwards, or she's not getting like pregnant, or like trying to do some crazy shit. You know what I mean?
So
Like,
that's your position?
no, that's not my position. But I'm thinking that's that rich dude. I mean, look at Bezos, man. He just split like billions of dollars over having sex with somebody, right? Imagine if that was
Who?
a fucking robot. All he had to go was
That was an expensive night.
yeah. He could just unplug that shit and game over. You know what I'm saying? A lot of shit. A lot of shit. And I don't think it's gonna be the girls, because the girls, they don't need that shit. Maybe out of like retaliation, like, oh shit, that's fucking, that's fucked up. Yeah, I kind of need something like that too. But I think guys, they more or less for just that instant gratification that will be able to provide.
Well, from a primal position, this is primal. I'm gonna get primal on you, okay? For a woman to choose a man is a higher level investment than a man choosing a woman. Here's why: because if she actually becomes pregnant, that means that she's going to have to nurture this child for at least 18 years. So for her to choose a man to procreate with is a higher level decision than it is for a man, because you can just theoretically do your thing and then move on, theoretically do your thing and move on, and it doesn't represent such a high level investment for a man, which is why you say that women run the world, because they get to choose. They get to choose. And primally, even in levels that they don't understand, some of them do, but most of them don't, they're trying to figure out, how can I ensure that my genes go forward? I have to pick the best possible mate that I can get. And that's what they're aiming for. Now, best possible mate is highly subjective based on the where you're
Environment,
raised.
yeah.
Because if you're raised in Africa, that your level of success or ability to succeed, those are two things that women gauge on: is your current success or your ability to succeed. Because sometimes people go, "How is that guy? He don't even have anything." Well, he's representing the qualities of the ability to succeed, which trigger the primal levels in the woman's brain and say, "Yes, this person has the traits that will ensure that I perpetuate my gene pool." And that's what they're really looking for. And that's what you're looking for too, by the way. You're looking for the highest level you can. So just put yourself in an environment and there's the ones that you don't think are at your level, and there's the ones that you think are beyond your level, and then you kind of find your level, whatever that is.
Well, men get like really butthurt too when women don't choose them because they're like, "Oh man, she's a bitch." It's like, no, she's actually, like you said, like trying to ensure the progression of her genes, and you got to kind of be more lighthearted about it because it's like, damn, like there's 3 billion women in the world as well, so it's like, why get all butthurt because they didn't, like you to progress the genes with them, you know what I mean? And that's what I think, like, men get so impatient. All these rich dudes, like, they are definitely not really one for patience and putting up with bullshit. So I think those robots are going to come into fruition a lot more,
Well, the robots could be a spark to push forward AI is what you're talking about.
Yes.
AI. So
AI's
tell me about AI. What is AI?
AI, it's basically just an algorithm super. AI is like an algorithm super center. It basically can. It knows you better than yourself. You know what I mean? It makes calculations like. Hey, have you ever heard of yourself just talking about something and not even typing it in, but then it pops up on your iPad or phone?
Yeah.
It's because the AI is recording your voice because of your microphone settings. So that actually, there's a lot of computer things and a lot of people with primal urges saying, "Hey, I want the information from these guys," and it'll basically become part of your life. If you chucked your phones, if we all chucked our phones for a month, don't you think we would be like straight up going crazy right now?
No, I think life would be so much better. I'd be so
I don't know.
so much less stressed
the
out.
truth is
We'd
you
be
can.
broke.
I hate this thing, man. I hate this
Well,
thing.
the truth is you can. And here's the problem with AI, and this is the big leap. Here's the big leap.
Yeah.
AI calculates algorithms and the probability of things happening, which is a very big, if you study the law of large numbers, the law of large numbers is a very powerful dynamic. However, AI cannot bridge the path to consciousness. Now, consciousness is this. Let's just say that I want to go do something that you have never done in your life, skydiving. Let's say you've never done skydiving in your life. I skydive. Let's just say, and out of the blue, I say, "Hey, Bernie, let's go skydive," and your conscious thought says, "You know what? I want to do something adventurous and dangerous. Yes, let's go." Well, that does not fit into the bigger algorithm, so it would have never been calculated. That's conscious thought, controlling your conscious thought. Now, a lot of our conscious thought is controlled by external influences until you really understand who you are, and then you can control it to a large degree. Not super powerful, but like the best yogis in the world can bring their heart rate down to 5 a minute or something crazy. But that's through conscious thought.
Yeah.
And the AI is just a gigantic gathering of data and predicting what you're going to do in the future. That's what it is. It's nothing more than that.
Right.
It is predicting what you do. So like your phone signature and my phone signature, they come together every so often.
Right.
I don't know what that is because I don't really think about it, but the algorithm does.
Really?
So the algorithm will know that your phone signature and my phone signature meet
shit.
every 4 weeks or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it will say with a large degree of certainty that we are going to meet within this time period, and it will even put the spots where we normally meet, and it'll be very, very accurate.
And then you get a Starbucks coupon.
Oh, Facebook
Yeah.
suggestions too, right?
Yeah. Well, part of that is because when you're liking things and when you're talking about things, your microphones are recording you all the time,
All the time.
nonstop. So because
Damn.
of that, they're
have a
able
bunch
to
of robots now.
quickly understand what's going on, and that is AI. There's databases of what you do that are so big, and so they're I mean,
looking at
unbelievably
porn history.
giant databases that's impossible for anybody to look at. So nobody's sitting there going, "Bernie's talking about weed." No, there's an algorithm that's picking up your voice patterns
Oh no.
and finding keywords and lining up together. And when they line them up together, they go, okay, here's the propensity of this to equate to that.
Holy you're scaring me, man.
Dude, it's real. This is happening right now. Literally right now.
Oh,
when
fuck.
you see the lowest level of this is just Facebook. That's the lowest level. It's not even the highest level. The lowest level is, hey, I'm looking for a special drill.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Ooh, it showed up in my feed. Wait a minute. I never searched it. How did it know? You're right. The microphones are listening to you. There's some kind of capturing device that's capturing everything you do all the time.
Wow.
And because of that, it goes into a gigantic database, and the computers are right now sophisticated enough in order to mine this stuff. Now, there is a limit at the speed it can mine it, but that's about to go away.
Wow.
And you know how else that's going to go away?
Why?
Something called 5G.
Oh shit! Well, that kind of you really fired my brain up right now. Like, so basically, you can't really commit a crime anymore then, because all you got to do is go to your cell phone.
man.
Yeah. I mean, come on,
This
look at the murders.
sucks.
Like, I mean, imagine cell phones 20 years ago. Like, I mean, people. It's kind of like on our thing, you know, in our prison subject. You can't be gangbanging and stuff and all that stuff and trying to, you know, go ahead and shoot up everything and blah, 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 doing drive-bys because you got satellites watching you, your cell phone's tracking you. Everything is like, you know.
You don't think they know that?
Yeah, oh.
You don't think they know that? The criminals? The
Right.
smart guys, I mean, just watch any TV. They're going to give you burner phones, and you
Oh.
can go down to the Target and get a burner phone. yeah. Bernie's ready to throw away his
Why do
phone.
you got all
He picks
kinds? No,
up-
no,
yeah,
no.
I
He has
know.
all kinds of phones sitting on the
Yeah, you
desk.
got 3 phones sitting up there. What is going on here? So those, I mean, you're right. That exists, and these guys know it. Here's the deeper level. This is where we get into conspiracy stuff.
Yeah.
The guys who really, really know this stuff don't release it to the rest of the world. Not even
Wow.
the CIA, the FBI. They won't release it to them anyway.
Wow.
The ones who really, really know this stuff are buried so deep you won't find them.
Wow.
Well, like for instance, one of the agencies that the government just recently, not that recently, but NSA. You know what NSA is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What is it?
National Security.
Perfect. National Security Agency. And they're listening to things that are insane, and they have algorithms that can pick up stuff, and they can fire off certain things. There's something called a 3-hop warrant, which is insane. Let me tell you what a 3-hop warrant is, okay?
Okay.
Let's just say that you've got a friend, let's say that he's a small level rapper.
Okay.
Okay, small level rapper, you got a buddy, and he's in LA trying to get a house, and he calls you.
Right.
And he says, "Hey, Bernie, I was hoping you could find me, a house." Okay, good. So that's one hop. You're one hop away from that rapper.
Right.
Well, let's say that rapper is signed by a high level rapper, and he does one phone call every 3 months because that's all he warrants.
Okay.
But that high level rapper is now 2 hops. Well, let's say that high level rapper gets invited to a foreign state.
Okay.
Let's say England or North Korea or Russia.
Yeah.
And they get to meet the president and they get connection with that person. That's 3 level. What that means is that person that's going, yeah, we got mail. What is that? That's old
1989,
school,
that's
man.
what that is.
1989 called. They want that phone back. They want that phone back. The other ones can stay. But that phone goes back.
Yeah, we're gonna watch
Everyone's
Seinfeld
dead.
next.
That's
What's going on?
called, so anything that guy did that is ugly, they now have a warrant through a 3-hop warrant to trace you. I think it's for 90 days or 6 months or something like that. So they can track. They can get to anything legally. They have legal ways to do it.
Yeah.
But even more than that, the databases. If you just Google the mining database
Yeah.
that's out there for the NSA, blow you away, man.
Oh my
It's just-
gosh.
and it's too much data for anybody to filter.
So we're on the Truman Show then, right? Or we're basically we should be living life.
We
as
kind of
we're on
are, but
camera.
but here's the problem. We are right now at the mercy of processing speed. Processing speed, even though you think it's super fast, it's not that fast.
Gotcha.
You know that your credit card is encrypted by a certain number of numbers that's just theoretically impossible for the computers to break at this speed.
Gotcha.
It can be
16
broken.
digits.
It'll just take 3,000 years or whatever.
Right.
But if we could increase processing speed, 3,000 years turns into 12 seconds.
Oh my gosh.
And
yeah.
that's 5G, and that's called nanotechnology. Nanotechnology is when you get into that level of processing, that is quantum computing. If you Google quantum computing, blow your mind. Quantum computing could bridge its way to AI.
Well, check it out. Look at, I mean, with the sex thing, you get a android robot, a she who could predict everything that you want.
Correct.
and will say, imagine that. I think that's going to be something that if it's not a fad, it's going to be like something in the future. And then they already have cars. When I was in Las Vegas, they did the first testing of like the first like semi trailer to like cross some bridge over in like over by the.
But I believe you're going to fall short with that with the Android robot. Here's why. Because the Android robot does not have conscious thought. So now here's where you get to. Let's say that you, Bernie, you can have the woman that will do anything you want all the time.
Right.
Will not question you. Will do absolute anything you want. Is that what you want?
Yeah, because you kind of want. But look at the chess games online. You have chess games that could beat you, so they must have some sort of capability of.
And anybody with a life
Yeah,
is not playing that chess game, man.
Hey, I'm sorry, man.
I'm too busy. We're too busy skydiving, man. We're too busy doing
I had some
things.
vodka right there. No, I spiced it up.
So that's where you get to the Android taking over the world. It's that bridge to consciousness, and I don't think we'll ever make that bridge. Some of the best minds in the world believe we will, and moreover, they believe that the AI will think faster. That it already does. AI. See, when you used to go to college, you used to say, "Hey, listen, I have a Harvard education or a San Diego State University education," and what that meant is I have a database or memory of a lot of facts. But the truth is, right now, I don't care where your education came from. I can go to my phone and find better information than what you remember. So your education is almost rendered worthless except for the experiences.
Right, exactly. So that's why college is kind of being obsolete. You know, the age is changing. You know what I mean?
And this is a current event that's happening right now of how computers are taking over. See, when we knew that colleges were getting less and less valuable, they just really diminished the power of colleges. They upped the ability to get money, and now everybody has an education. It used to be, when like back to my days of manipulation, if you had a 4-year degree, you were at a different level. Now, if you don't have a 4-year degree, you're not even at the base level.
Dang, that's crazy.
I know, right?
I'm like a
I know,
outcast.
right? And even if you went to Harvard 10 years ago, I can get the information that's more current right now. The only thing that changes is your conscious experience and the way you've been able to put that together and build something out of it.
So true, man. YouTube, big one. You can actually, I feel like you can actually get a degree just by, going on YouTube, for 4 years at a time. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy how, you can just get information from anywhere, anytime, any place, Nuts.
Okay. Cool. So you believe robots are going to take over the world?
I think that they're going to. It's like the Iron Man theory, I call it. You know how Iron Man, he's a human being, but he has the AI to kind of complement him.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be like that. I think it's going to be more like people are going to just use AI to really complement their lifestyle. Like rather than go to my car's going to come to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, here's the thing that scares me. The only thing I didn't think, I believed for a very long time AI could not take over until I heard guys like Stephen Hawking, who's one of the smartest minds around. He's passed now, but he's one of the smartest minds around.
I think he likes Xbox.
Elon Musk. All right, Elon Musk.
He likes Xbox.
Sex bots.
Yeah, he can't get away
Actually,
from
he
those sex
was
bots.
known for going to strip clubs.
Yeah.
So
He was known for it.
I don't know how you guys know
Yeah.
this stuff. You guys would
I
do
see
be
him
like,
there.
He's a very smart guy. I'm like, he loves strippers. We like him for our
we
own
put
reasons.
different things in Google.
We like him for our own reasons, man.
We put
No,
different
he's
things in
known.
Google.
He's known in strip clubs.
No.
Like,
He will. Oh.
hey,
I know,
dude, drop
can't
it
do
like it's
that.
hot.
Oh,
Drop it
probably
like
shut
it's
it
hot.
down.
Damn, that's pretty
Make
hardcore.
it rain.
Oh, we're
Make
gonna
it
get, We're
rain.
gonna get some
Make
letters
it
on
rain.
This one.
Oh,
There's gonna be some strongly worded emails coming back at us.
Ooh, someone's gonna get their feelings hurt.
But anyway, these guys with minds that are just, I believe, bigger than mine or more intellect or however you want to measure it, they're saying, hey, listen, yes, AI will cross over, and they're the ones that understand this. Most people don't understand that AI has to cross over into consciousness. And so then you get to consciousness, and what is something that makes you human? What makes you Bernie? Is it your brain?
No,
Is
it's
it
like-
your body? Is it your essence? Is it your being?
It's the marijuana.
It's everyone that's treated me like shit.
It's the marijuana.
I'm just
No, it's the
raged.
marijuana, the alcohol, the strippers. It's all them.
Everybody.
Wow.
It's everything.
That's all of those things,
Yeah,
right?
it all makes it one.
The
So-
drug
so-
dealing.
So what makes you you? What makes you you?
Yeah.
If you get like let's say you have a CVA cerebrovascular accident and you lose part of your brain and you don't act the same anymore, are you still Bernie?
You mean like what makes my personality like?
Yeah.
is it
What
the
makes you you?
success?
What makes you Bernie? Is it your body?
I would say it's my experiences. Yeah.
Your experiences?
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do I quantify your experiences?
Well, you could do anything artificially, you know? You could definitely make artificial weed, right? So you could definitely make artificial experiences, you know?
Can I make an artificial Bernie?
Yeah. Well, if I were to divulge everything about me, then you could reproduce that, you know?
So genetically, we can do that right now. We can take one of your genes and recreate you. Is that Bernie?
if I were to talk to them and be like, "Yo, this is what happened when this and then like
So you have to make him Bernie, so he's not Bernie.
He's
I
not
think he's
Bernie until-
verifying.
Yeah,
He's verifying. He's questioning whether he is or not.
No, I mean it would be like I would have to
is
give
that Bernie?
them an oral synopsis of what happened, in my life to actually make them react to things in the way I have. You know what I mean?
But then it's not Bernie. It's your programming of Bernie,
It's a
because Bernie
continuation.
to you is who you believe you are, but Bernie to you is different than Bernie to Chris and Bernie to me and Bernie to Kip. Bernie to all of us is a different thing. So is this genetic clone of you Bernie?
In a way, but only if I gave it the experiences, which I probably can't, right?
How can you give somebody an experience that they didn't have?
Only by oral, not oral. Only by like.
What are you gonna do to yourself? Again?
Introduce you to a
Come
couple
on,
ladies,
guys.
huh?
Come on.
No, like basically,
come on.
no, I mean like basically, like how do you experience, you put in like a 50 Cent CD and then you think you're from the hood, you know what I mean? Kind of like that, you
Well-
gotta kind of give them.
Well, just
like,
this
the
podcast
experience.
right
You
here.
allo-
Let's just
you-
say you told him about the podcast. Does that mean he experienced the podcast? No, you told him about it.
Yeah, I told them about.
Well,
it.
you right
that's not
now is
experience.
not the same you 10 years ago,
yes,
or 20 years ago,
right,
or 30 years
because
ago.
of experience.
So you tomorrow is not going to be the same one. So the other person can't be Bernie.
It's gonna be a variation.
Well, my kid,
So who
my
is
kid
Bernie?
is it, my kid has my genes and my DNA.
See, that's where we get to conscious thought. This is consciousness.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
but
you're
she's not
conscious
me.
of who you are, AI can't take that.
But they can
Because
make
today you could say, hey, you know what? I'm done with real estate. I'm done.
Right.
You know what I'm going to do? I am going to go live on a mountain in Tibet. The algorithm would have never predicted that in a million years, but something inside of your conscious being said, I have to do that. So being able to harness that or understand it, just first off, understand it. Most people don't understand it. Most people will never hit the level of understanding consciousness.
But we do have our own algorithm too inside of us. I think it's mimicking us. Like something in my subconscious, whether it's when I seen a map of Tibet when I was a kid, or whether I just been like, just looking at like stuff like that in my sleep or whatever, like the TV's on and saying Tibet. I think that like if just like the chess game, if they could like create a whole bunch of different scenarios and they could start just like building on artificial experiences and just like predictive, like I worked at a company where we could predict your spending habits by your past habits. You know what I mean? So it's like, and it was so intriguing to
Every
me.
credit card company in the world.
Exactly. So it's like you could actually be like, okay, they're most likely gonna buy some Jack in the Box like in the next 2 days because of what happened in the past. So if a computer could do that, and that might have been at the base level, imagine what they have available that could be like, oh, Birdie's gonna, like on RoboCop, how the dude used to like see the people and be like, oh, that's gonna be a criminal. You know what I mean? Like I think that like they could predict that. Kind of like how you could look.
But
at
here's the
somebody
hard
like,
part
oh,
of that.
motherfucker.
Here's the hard part of it. I believe that you have good and bad in you right now. You do, Bernie. Of
course.
You do.
Yeah.
And I believe Chris does, and I believe Kip does, and I believe all of us do. And I believe there's a constant battle going back and forth, and you have to make a choice of where you stand. The guys who become evil guys and cross over and do bad things, well, they made the choice to go that way. They can say it was something that drove me or whatever, but there are people that do the opposite. They make choices to be good, but you can become a bad guy. No doubt. I have no doubt you can be. If we put you in the right circumstances,
It's like a jail.
There's actually a thought out there that you are a bad guy in a different place.
Yeah.
you're talking
Oh,
about different dimensions.
different
yeah.
Well, not different dimensions, different galaxies, because it's infinite happening right now. So right now, someone's having, or there's a Lee Duran, there's a Bernie Lawrence, and a Chris Dominguez having a podcast in a different galaxy, in the same exact office, in the same exact city, but Chris got pissed off and actually shot Bernie.
Whoa.
Whoa!
because
I
that
didn't even know you
bad.
had a gun.
Hey, what happened?
Wait a minute.
Because that-
Whoa! 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 Whoa!
I didn't have a
Whoa!
bulletproof vest.
When you talk about the good and the bad that exists in all of us, I actually acted on the bad somewhere else. And I'm acting on the good somewhere else. And I'm actually going to make a move somewhere else in the same exact position where it's actually going to make me a billionaire or
that-
kill me.
That is a multi-dimensional theory. It's called a multi-dimensional theory, and right now they're believing. We used to believe there was 7 dimensions. Now we believe there's 11 dimensions. Okay. And there's another theory that says we have unlimited dimensions. You want to blow your mind? Plug that into YouTube one time. Plug in the 11 dimensions in YouTube, and you'll go, What on earth? It is insane,
Well,
dude.
there's
I
another
gotta
thought.
tap out on that one.
There's another thought that says that you're living your life over and over and over again. You're just making different choices every single time with the goal of being better. So if I go backwards, I might be a real criminal. Just moving forward, I'm just making myself a little bit better every time I relive my life.
And the way you live your life is based off the space-time continuum. The space-time continuum says that time is linear, and during this spot in the linear line of time, you are here at this exact moment, and it's like a moving picture going forward. Now, that's the space-time continuum. Einstein's theory of relativity says we can bend the space-time continuum, and if you look at the latest alien research, we can actually suspend the space-time continuum. So if you've ever seen a freeze frame, you can do a freeze frame. And this is how it's theorized that the aliens travel through the galaxy. They literally control gravity.
Okay.
And they open up the space-time continuum and fall to the next spot where they're going faster than the speed of light.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, sure. Easy.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's
Awesome.
No, it makes
Yeah.
sense.
Hey, what'd you have for dinner?
Okay, fuck it, you know?
So this bot you're talking about, is it in your car?
Back to the weed. This is boring.
Buy some alien bots, you know.
Holy shit! Yeah, that sounds really good. Well, damn.
Yeah, I tell you, we put different things in Google. You and me.
I know. Crazy.
I do. I spend time studying the space-time continuum, studying the different dimensions, consciousness. One of my biggest pushes for the last 4 or 5 years has been consciousness. It is understanding consciousness, and that's just mind-blowing. Consciousness is mind-blowing.
Are we out of time, kiddos?
Yeah, we're getting to the. Did we cover all the topics, guys?
Yeah,
we
yeah.
kind of wanted to cover all the topics. Let me see. Let me make sure that I got my little.
Boring.
We
This
got
guy wrote down
weed,
topics.
Primal,
what the hell's
road-taking
going on here?
alien,
Yeah. We forgot to
Yeah,
put
we even
the sex
we even
bots in
covered
jail.
prison because
Ooh.
sex spots in jail.
We're gonna say prison for next one.
Shank. The prison. The bots are gonna shank people.
I'm gonna
if you
share
put a sex
all
bot.
of Lee's prison time that
Oh,
I've recorded over the years.
Yes. No, if you put a sex bot in jail, I mean, that's gonna be like a whole different economy. So
Actually,
whole
people might want to stay in.
I know. Yeah.
Oh wow!
Like I gotta shake someone here so I can get 10 more years.
I want
I think
10
the
more
fights-
years in prison.
Holy shit.
This is you guys Google different things than I do. I'm just telling you, man. You know what, Bernie? Appreciate you coming by.
appreciate
I
you
do,
guys
man.
having
This is
me.
pretty fun.
Yeah,
Let's
this
do it
is
again.
awesome, man.
Let's do it
I
again.
learned
Cool.
some stuff.
So,
Thanks, Bernie. Thanks for
Chris,
stopping by.
Thank you guys.
Till next
blow
time.
it up, man.
Thank you.
Boom.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Out.